All right, this is a 2019 Infiniti QX60. This is a 3.5 liter engine. Today we are changing the front brake pads, and this is what your brake pads should look like, and this is what your hardware should look like. And then of course we have brake grease. All right, so let's get this brake reservoir cap off and just set it down gently on top. I have my vehicle in the air. I'm using this pinch weld here that runs from front to back, and be careful of this light that they have here. And I'm also using my jack stand right there on the inside. The front wheel doesn't really spin, but for the parking pause sake, if you're not using the impact like I am, then it's best to have the tire only about halfway up, and then break these loose, then raise the vehicle all the way up, and then finish getting these off. So once you get this tire off, you can see that there are two 17mm bolts on this caliper to be removed. So I have this 6-point socket here, and I'm going to use that to remove these two bolts. Now we can get this caliper off like that. And I'm using this hook right here to hang this caliper to take the weight off of that line right there. Let's use a flathead and remove our pads. And we can also remove the hardware. Only if you have new hardware to put on here, you remove the old hardware. All right, let's get our hardware in. We're gonna go ahead now and get our brake pads on. So they're pretty much the same pads. They're both up top. So the goal is to get this to sit outside of here and this one to slide inside of there. Right. So what I did was I forced this piece up top in first, then I was able to guide this behind that, and then I got the bottom part in. So I didn't get the whole piece in at once. I got the top part in, forced it up there, then I got this to slide behind here, and then I got this piece in. So now I'm gonna go ahead and do the back side. Both of the pads on in here now. So it's time to press this caliper in. All right, so this is my setup here. I got my C-clamp and my old brake pad. I'm gonna go ahead and turn this clockwise to get this piston, these two pistons all the way in. Only thing I have to do now is put a little grease. So instead of putting the grease on the back of the pads, I like to put them on the over here on the calipers, on the pistons, right on the ends where it meets the back of the brake pads. And I like to put them on the back of these forks here where they contact the back of the other brake pad. That way you don't put brake grease all over the brake pads where it don't need to go. So now we can just place this on here, and you can't see the brake grease. It's only where it needs to be. So let's go ahead and put the bolts back in for our caliper. So we have our brake pads and our rotors on. We have our bolts tightened down in the back here on our caliper bracket, and on our calipers. Only thing left to do now is put this tire back on. All right, so I got the tire back on and I got the vehicle back on the ground. Only thing left to do now is tighten up this brake reservoir, and then don't forget to pump the brakes up once you get inside. All right, so that's it. That's how you change your front brake pads on a 2019 Infiniti QX60.